AMC. Because AMC was all across my timeline. And hopefully it was all across your timeline too, because that says that people in your network are talking about money. If you got 9 broke friends, you will be the 10th one. If you got 8 wealth-minded friends, 9 wealth-minded friends, you will be the 10th one. Be careful of the company that you keep. Don't just talk about Real Housewives if you can't talk about the real of making money and creating wealth. You are a reflection of the company that you keep. Hello, that's a word. I hope somebody wrote it down. So let's talk about AMC. So AMC, background, it is the largest movie theater chain in the world. Okay, let me say that one more time. AMC is the largest movie theater chain in the world. But it was recently affected, like most businesses, when we all went home during a pandemic, right? We had to socially distance, right? So instead of being in the movie theater and cuddling under the covers with your boo, get your hand off my leg, boo. Look, we were supposed to be watching the movie, boo, watch the movie, right? Everybody went home, Netflix and chilled and made a whole bunch of babies. That's why the pregnancies skyrocketed over the past year. Last time you saw your friend, she was turning up, jumping on the table, talking about YOLO or brunch, and now she got 2 kids. That's what Netflix and chill and pandemic will do to you, right? If you stand inside so safely, socially distancing. So AMC was facing bankruptcy, okay? And one of the things that it did during the pandemic was it closed all of its stores all of its theaters, and it was costing them $125 million a month, right? $125 million a month, meaning that it was just going very fast towards bankruptcy. But it was able to raise $921 million in investor dollars in order to take bankruptcy off the table. And that's the first time that people started having a little bit of hope in AMC, right? That it could survive the year, right, without going broke. But they received these investor dollars with the hopes and expectations that when the economy opened back up, that people would go back to the movie theaters, right? They stopped Netflix and chilling, and they start going back to the movie theaters where people could squeeze your knee with your permission. Secondly, they bet on a majority of the population being vaccinated. There being blockbusters available every single Friday and Saturday, giving people incentive to go to the movie theaters. And they also bet on landlords giving them relief on rent, right? Just because you're losing $125 million a month doesn't mean that you can't pay rent. Try to mess with your landlord if you want to, right? They got a mortgage to pay as well, right? So AMC was begging the landlord, like, please just reprieve, right? But here's the thing that happened with AMC. It started to trend across the internet, #SaveAMC, and people just started reminiscing on when they could go to the movie theater and watch Back to the Future and Black Panther. And they said, I think that there's some value in this business. But most importantly, there was 20% of shares that were being shorted. Let's talk about when shares are shorted, because this takes us back to what happened with the GameStop saga, right? This is retail investors trying their best to make sure that hedge fund managers who manage $1 billion of assets, right, pay them what they feel like they owe them. It's the little guy versus the big guy. And AMC and GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond, businesses that a lot of hedge fund managers have bet would go out of business, are now in a position where as the value of AMC increases, they stand to lose a lot of money. And for people who've invested in AMC, if hedge fund managers buy their shares, they stand to gain a lot of money. So let's talk about that, right? Because that's what people are talking about, right? The big short, right? What does that mean for new investors, and how can I help you understand? So imagine hedge fund manager is right here, all right? So I want you to stick with me. Hedge fund manager is right here. Hedge fund manager buys a $10 AMC share from a brokerage, right? So brokerage is over here. They say, give me the $10. The hedge fund manager borrows the $10 and they sell it to the retail investor for $10. So they sold something that they did not own because it was borrowed. If the retail investor loses value on that share, right? So AMC goes from $10 to $1, right? Then the hedge fund manager goes and says, I'll buy that back from you, right? You're losing money. Let me buy that back from you, right? They pay them $1 for the share, give the share back to the brokerage, and now they profited $9. These are hedge fund managers borrowing an asset, selling it, and betting that when the price goes down, they can buy it for cheap, profit, and give it back to their original owner. Why does this matter when you're talking about a big short, right? A short squeeze. Because sometimes there are hedge fund managers that will buy the AMC share for $10, sell it for $10, but then guess what? Reddit gets involved, drives the price up. Let's say the price goes all the way up to $100. Now the hedge fund manager is like, oh my God, this was supposed to be worth $1. Now it's worth $100. They said, hey, retail investor, give me the share back. I'll buy it from you. Well, now they have to buy it for $100 when they sold it for $10. So if you're buying something for $100 that you paid $10 for, well, now it's a loss. It's a loss, right? Because they have to give back something that they borrowed to the original owner. So they pay you $100. Now you've made money because you sold it. They've lost money because they bought it for a more expensive price, and then they give it back. That is a big short. Hedge fund managers looking at the price of GameStop, looking at the price of AMC, looking at the price of Bed Bath & Beyond, going up and up and up and saying, I don't want to pay $100 for something that I sold for $10 because that means that I've now lost $100. And so these are the conversations that are going on in the Reddit platforms. Let's drive this price up as high as it can go, sell it to these hedge fund managers that manage billions of dollars in assets, and now where they bet on a loss, I have now achieved a win. This is the game that they're talking about on CNBC, on CNN. This is a game that the Reddit users are trying to play, and it is a game of chicken, right? Who is going to budge first? The hedge fund manager is betting on the fact that retail investors will sell as the price goes up, right? So right now, AMC is worth $62, right? They're betting that if it goes to $65, someone who bought in at $20 will be like, I'm out, right? I bought it at $40, it's $65, I'm selling, right? And as they sell, more people begin to sell until it goes back down to its original $10, $2, $4 price. And the more people who sell, the lower the price gets, and the more the hedge fund manager says, keep driving it down so I can get my money, return the shares to its original borrower, and I can make sure that my millionaire and multimillionaire clients get more money. All right? So that's how the whole short sell is working, and that's why Reddit users are saying, drive it up, though AMC might not be able to fully defend being a valuable business moving forward. But here's what makes AMC such a unique case study that's different than GameStop, right? We know that GameStop was battling with people gaming, right, online. People are gaming online and they're no longer going into the GameStop, buying games, using them at home, selling them back for a price so that other people can buy them used. The thing about AMC is this past Memorial Day weekend, they did $100 million in sales. People were tired of Netflix and chilling. They didn't want the dude off of Tinder, the dude off of Bumble, the dude off of Hinge, coming over their house, sitting they stank behind on the couch. Guys were tired of having this girl come up, catfishing girl, come up in their house. You know, they done went ahead, put all types of filters on their face, came over there to Netflix and chill. You thought that you was seeing Becky. You open the door, there's Keisha, right? You love Keisha, but Keisha does not look like the Becky that you swiped on. Nope. So people wanted to go back to theaters. $100 million in sales in a weekend, right? But then also AMC is still competing with, they happen to really deal with Warner Media, releasing some of their videos on to AMC theaters, but then also releasing some of their videos, right, straight to HBO Max, right? So it's just like, you can go to the theater if you want to, but if you would have like to Netflix and chill and make a third kid, right, while you hanging out at home, you can also watch it on HBO Max and not pay $35 for popcorn. So that is AMC, okay? So give me a heart if that explanation was easy to understand, right? Because talking about the Big Short, the short squeeze, isn't always an easy thing to explain to new investors, and honestly to some institutional investors. So here's the thing about AMC, worth $62 now. In June, AMC was trading, which means that people were buying and selling it at $4.